not into the big league. I am just an ordinary Filipino residing somewhere in Mindanao. My city is Davao City, in the midst of a not so peaceful island. And we are doing our best really to make it business friendly, to talk about money. Mindanao holds a great promise in agriculture. The problem is it is beset with the remnants of the rebellion of the yesteryear. There's still a great feeling of nationalism among the Muslim population. And there's always the hurt over the century, the injustice committed against the Moro people. So in terms of money and agriculture, we've talked to Mindanao and we're trying our best really to come up with something. I have talked to the communists and I would like to thank Norway. They are now in Oslo. The communists and the government panel are talking there. And I would like to thank the government of Norway for its good offices in this talk. I have talked to Murad, the leader of the MILF, one of the bigger factions in the secessionist movement. And despite the fact that the last time we were considering the BBN, Murad threatened to go to war if there is no BBN. By the grace of God, we were able to talk to him and said that he might want to postpone the rebellion and the war because there is still enough time for us to talk about peace. And so with Normiswari of the MNLF, practically this is really the picture of what is in Mindanao and the rest of the country. I expect a successful talks with the Communist Party. And that is why the soldiers of the Republic are freed of the war fronts here vis-a-vis with the communists, the New People's Army. So I was able to move my troops to Mindanao, and that resulted really in a firefight until now, and also the reason why there was that blast in Davao City. It's a always tit for tat for them, and because they are losing heavily because of the concentration of the troops that I have deployed from other areas. So wala nang NPA. At least there is no fighting right now. And because they are suffering heavy losses, ayun, and, there's always a time for retaliation and everything. But I said we are insisting, but this is really how it goes. I have talked to the major fronts. The problem is there is a sector in Mindanao which until now I cannot convince to talk to us. Why? They are the scholars. And scholars do not carry guns. There are a lot of them, and in some places in Mindanao, aplenty. We cannot do anything punitive for the simple reason that they are into the religious activity. And in this country, freedom of religion to practice one is always sacred. It's embedded in the Constitution. And it goes for all religions. Now, there are a lot of them called the tabliks. And they're very good. And they're straightforward. And nothing is wrong with that if you trace history. They would be something like the Knights of Columbus for the Catholic Church. So ito yun sila, they go around preaching. And for the reason that they are preaching really what is historical and truth is something which is hard to overcome. In 1521, when Magellan landed somewhere in Leyte, bringing with him imperialism, the flag of Spain, the religion, plus the cannons and the gunpowder. So they were able to conquer almost half the Visayas because it's a separate, it's not a contiguous thing. It's separated by islands up to Luzon. So but that is history. For us, it's history. But the problem is, we had a good look at Mindanao. Ever since it, maybe God created the planet, it has not been situated below the typhoon belt. So everyone until now, pati tayo, all of us, look at Mindanao with a great promise for agriculture. And we can plant and grow, and we can harvest aplenty, were it not for the wherewithals, the dynamics going on. And so we can only find a peaceful compromise, I think that would have solved a great deal of our problems about food sufficiency and even the promise of export. I'm glad. I'd like to thank China for opening its doors again to the pineapple and the banana industry. Salamat po. Now, that as a predicate is something which I'd like to begin my simple story. You know, I said I'm not into the big league. I had failing grades in economics when I was in high school and college. It never interested in the graphs. It makes me dizzy to see the graphs going down and going up. I don't that make any sense at all. Study just to pass. Yeah. 75, 76. I'm telling you the truth. I'm the classmate of Sunny Dominguez. Our childhood friends, same neighborhood, same precarious interest, laugh. And I was not able to finish in Ateneo because they threw me out. So fine. And but he was the conceited guy in our class, valedictorian always. So he knows. But I became a lawyer, and for 8 years I was for a while I practiced law. Then I went on to become a prosecutor, and I was doing trial work in court for about 7 years. I believe in law and order. I hate criminals. Maybe the reason one of my years in the court. I hate drugs. I've seen so many lives destroyed and people wallowing in filth of money because of drugs, the drug dealers. And I have seen so many cases fall in court because of corruption. Money, both judges, prosecutors, police submitting an alon instead of the tawas, instead of the real makor. They look alike. Sure. And those are the things that I had to endure when I was a lawyer. When I became a mayor, if you just listen to me, this is my economics. This is my business. No big deal. I ran for mayor in 1988 and I stayed there for 23 years. Last, I went on to become a congressman and the vice mayor to my daughter. I knew the problems of a city. In any trouble place. And I just did my work. The native in me just simply went for simple rules. I said in my inaugural speech for the first time in 1988, I said, you criminals, kidnappers, who gun for hire, whether soldiers or civilians, or whatever animal you are, go out of the city or I will kill you. And I was very specific to those who are into drugs. And you are now destroying a generation of Filipinos. Go out because I will kill you. And that was the rule. I do not have to go into the specifics. But I saw my city grow or grew, and I said to the businessmen and the government will tell you, I am not a business person. I have a limited field about the only thing that I encountered about business was during the study of law. And it was legal accounting. At hirap ako ng subject na yan because I could not understand why will you spend debit 500, then you put it again, debit 500. There must be something wrong in the system. Why does it just list down your expenses and your income? You do not have to worry about this ula-baloo. And so even then, I was not really interested in it. But I was interested more in criminal law. Because I really wanted to be a lawyer and a criminal law. As a matter of fact, my dream was just to be appointed as a Sandigan Bayan. It's the criminal courts handling the cases of employees in the... You know. So the business, I said, I will take care of the environment. I told the late Jesus Ayala, she was one of my who call me one every now and then. Ano sinabi ko kanina? I will make the city peaceful. I will make corruption a pass in the city. I was the first city to impose a 3-day limit of clearances, whether it is electrical, business, or whatever, 3 days or 72 hours. After that, you explain to me why it took you more than 72 hours to process a simple thing. That was the rule in that. Then I said, no corruption. So I will kill you. Not in the hyperbole, but maybe just out of some passion in it. It carries more of the passion, not really the literal. And Davao grew and grew and grew. And Davao, you can, except for the blast, which we expected because it was a retaliation thing. And to a certain extent, it was a failure of intelligence. But Davao is now what it is. Because of the simple thing. I do not like corruption. I gave each department in this government now, in the national, 3 days. But 1 month. 1 month. Then all the papers clearance in 3 days. From the presidency, I have yet to formulate the local instructions because local government officials are not under my control, but they are under my supervision according to the Constitution. So I cannot supplant or change the decision, but I can, put them in place by just requiring the many days. Considering the nuances of local government, I may have praised them something like 4, 5 days, 1 week. Tapos na. At dito naman sa national, 1 month. And I said I assembled men who are known to me. The BIR, Billy Dulay, mas may companion sa dormitoryo no, so IMCA. He was occupying a room and his roommate was Secretary Balio. They were then students who were studying at Ateneo. Yasay and we were roommates. Yasay was from studying in Padre Cora, but he was missing for quite a time because he is a fugitive. He was a criminal. But during the time of Marcos, he was being hunted, so he was able to escape to somewhere. But we occupied the same room. So there's 4 of us, and plenty of others. Now, if I may just go to the side group. Sabi kasi nila, dito, why is this Duterte? He is appointing lahat ng cabinet. Cabinet members are all kainuman, drinking partners, and kaibigan ang kakilala. But I'd like to tell you, I do not drink. I do not smoke. I do not womanize. I live a holy life. But I'll drink to that. You know, when you begin to delude yourself so much lies, it becomes the truth in your life. But sila lang kasi ang kaibigan. Those are the guys that I met, example, Sunny and the rest of the cabinet members. They are the bright guys, really. Whom I met when I was from Davao, was studying here in school, law school. And those are the bright ones, Tugade. Tugade is, he's bright, he's the valedictorian of class. Bright yan. And even Piñol. You might want to, Piñol is a farm land boy, but he graduated summa cum laude. All of them are really bright guys there. Briones and I'm the only one who's 75. But unfortunately, I'm the boss. I cannot engage you in so many theories about economics and all. I must be very frank with you. I have a very limited dimension about economics. No, if I could be good if I put myself into it. I mean, if I were to read economic books right now, I just don't have the time. I can improve my dialogue with you, but I do not have the time. And so what I do say is that in this government, there will be no corruption. In this government, it will be clean, as in clean, and this government will promise you law and order. When I launched my candidacy for the presidency, wala ko akong ni isang native barangay captain in Luzon, except the province of Ilocos Norte and Lawag. I wonder, kung ano lang, but only because of certain ties. It will be a long story, but the tie that binds, parang gano'n. In the Visayas, how many presidents? 72. Not a single governor or congressman. In Mindanao, no governor except one, and only because she loves me and I love her. But that's the parang equation. Who is it? You have to find out who she is. Danny Dominguez, I just learned that he mortgaged his hotel, Marco Polo. But I hope he recovered on time. He's the brightest, is the richest. That's the irony of life. I am the poorest performer, but I am the president, so make your choice. So yan lang, no corruption. I want my country peaceful. I want my country like Davao, where you can go around, eat durian at 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, and nothing else. I just want people torture. Have you noticed Davao? I don't understand that. I do not want you smirking, snorting, behave. I have the best police force. There's no checkpoint they're asking for money. I don't allow it. I simply would say, do what is right. You know what is right, just do it. You know what is wrong, so avoid it. Ganun lang yan. For the police, for the military, especially the police, who I fired, when I assumed office, I fired 6 generals. Yun ang hindi naintindihan ng Philippine. At ng human rights. Remember at the first volley, there were many killed. Have you not taken into consideration that there were some military and police officers, generals, to save their lives? And at that time, there was already mention about me because I was very old. Do not destroy my country. Lalo na. The succeeding firefights, I must admit, was between the police and the criminals. But it was never the thing of the government at the outset, yung patayan. You don't, you wrap around plastics over the body. Why would the police do that? Why would you waste your time? By simply shoot him in the head once and that's it. But because that's not a form of torture. We do not do it. I will not also allow it. Torture is very odious to me. If you want to kill the guy, fire a single shot. Make their choice, head or heart. And maybe if you still are mad at him, it's bored. Then, tama na. Leave it that way. Hindi amin yun, hindi amin. So, yung succeeding, ang problema, they themselves are also, you know, when you create intrigue, you know, this guy, I would say just among themselves. And you go there into the arena to deliver the photograph. But you are still at it. Now, again, I would repeat, I will not allow my country to do this. I will not allow my country, the next generation to become. Maski yan ang gawin. And I will not allow corruption to destroy my government. Took me several months to campaign. You just don't throw away the political stuff that I have built for myself. Tapos sisirain. Magpatayan tayo. Really. Do not destroy me. Because if you have no business except to make money, get out of government. Lahat yan. Work without exception. Droga, it will continue. It will continue until the last drug lord and the last pusher is out of the streets. That's the end. Killing, there will be killings. They choose to fight it out. This is a very simple instruction. to the police and the military. Go out and answer them, arrest them, announce your authority if there is time. But if there is no time, then you have to ask him to surrender. Because if he does something overt, which you think will kill you as a peace officer, then kill the idiot. No problem with that. And that has been the order. And I said that I will kill you if you do drugs in this country. I will do it. And I don't give a shit. I will do it. If you destroy the next generation or compromise the future, I will do it. Period. United Nations, in the boundary of Texas and Mexico, New Mexico, and Mexico itself, in the drug war, 60,000 have already died. Me, I have 4 billion drug addicts. When I was in Laos, I asked President Widodo, how many of your countrymen are into it? I estimate about 4 million. Then President Widodo asked, how about you? I counted only the PDEA findings 2 years ago by General Santiago when he was the head of PDEA. He said to us, I was still mayor, there are now about 3 million addicts in this country. 3. And my numbers, I ignored the findings and the surrenderies that you saw on TV by the hundreds of thousands. I did not include it in my script. I said, or maybe 3 million. But after our talk, I was lying about to sleep and I was playing the numbers. Indonesia is a very big country. 2 great islands and 1 small, or 3. It has 240 million people. Then I was thinking of my country. It's about 7,000 islands, not contiguous. And there are about 104 million. 100 million. And I have, if I include now, the guys that you saw on TV surrendering to the police seeking treatment, it was equal also to 4 million. Tabla kami ni Widodo. So we're even a small nation and a big nation. So said, I have to do something right at this time. If that is the only achievement that I can make for my country, let me repeat my pledge. In this fight of corruption, drugs, criminality, I put at stake on the table my life, my honor, and the presidency itself. Never mind about impeachment. I said I won the presidency. Sans the money. All of you are witnesses. A little money given by some friends. Then the machinery was almost like PDP is now a great party. But at the time it was small. It was only a party of Senator Pimentel and his son, the Senate President. But I won and said, there are 3 things which I kept on hammering. Colonel Lambino is here, he was with us all the time. Only 3. Sabi ko, I will fight corruption. and I am going to do it. Let me end. It's getting late. Let me end this thing. If I cut short of my presidency, if I'm ousted next year, that is part of my destiny as president. Only for 1 year. If I get assassinated, then that is part of God's plan that you be there only for 2 years, 1 year, and you die. If I'm ousted, fine. Wala naman akong ginasto. I don't have to worry about the millions of loss. Wala akong pera eh. But I just kept on saying that, well, and in almost all of my campaigns, if you had followed, I was the only one invoking the name of God. If by God's grace I will win the presidency, I will do this. If God would allow me a life longer, I would do this. I was the only one really. So I am not into religiosity, but I believe that there is really somebody there. And my presidency was really a destiny. Even you guys, if you talk about it when I leave, alam niyo, nobody expected me. I was number in the rating, number 3, number 4, number 3, number 4. So, people with so much money never gave me money because they will not win. The numbers stayed steady for 2 weeks. And when I was making my speech, meeting the advance, I looked at the monitor of the drone, and that was the first time I whispered to my wife, maybe, because it was filled to the beams, up to the luneta crowd. It was a huge crowd, and I said to my wife, maybe, I said, if God allows it, I will win the presidency. And I did. I got 15 million with a majority of 6 million nearest my rival. So, I can only give you what has God has commissioned me to do. He said, drop the corruption of your country because it will not move. Let business thrive, stop corruption, shorten the procedures for all, make it comfortable. I told everybody, I do not want Filipinos queuing under the heat of the sun of anything. Cut that crap. You can do it. So now everybody is into online with the entry of DTI Ramon Lopez and Salilima. Rudy used to be the Vice President of Law. He's now appointed DCIT for the new Kulabalok. I do not even know how to operate the testing. I'm still using the push and pull. That's really. So, they would, I said, I would like to see maybe towards the 3rd or 4th, everything will be online. Now, I'd like to end this by saying, I said it was SW before now, Pulse Asia, came out with the rating. I'm not interested in the rating. I'm comfortable with 75. Just like, yeah, they will be serious. So they said, what can you say about your rating? I said, 6. And one report said, well, 5. I said, gago, pagsak ako na. 6 na. But that is a moderate. I do not go for stupendous. I'm not used to it. I'm not used to luxury things. I not even watches. I do not wear it's not because I'm a hypocrite. I simply, I'm not into the factory. I'm more of just keeping my, going around the country. And wherever there is, I'm losing 2 policemen a day in the drug. At least 2, on the average, 2 policemen a day. And 1 or 2 military men. I have commissioned them to join the fight. So we will fight. I will not. International Court of Justice. Maybe you guys, if you can also tell your friends. I have criticized them. And I'd like to explain why. My mom. Early on, that thing about extrajudicial killing was really an issue against me, true or not, in Davao City. Because my opponent was the bright guy. He's now sick. I hope he dies immediately. Bakit mo sabihin buhay? If it's your enemy, I'm dead. It was sunny there to tell you the truth. Consistently. I have not lost an election, by the way. Since 1988. Tuloy-tuloy na ho yun hanggang the presidency. Now, I'm not lost an election, but I've been very consistent in and the attacks we do. Remember, if you care to go to revisit the campaign days, that issue of extrajudicial killing was not an issue against me. It became an issue anti-garbage when some senators, for money, I don't have to mention the name, when I was hitting the ratings very high, then they began to unleash, to jettison the garbage. So, but it was not really an issue. It was only when I was. So they know that it was the same issue that was being used now by the NGO and the country officer maybe of the Human Rights Commission, and the President and the State Department lady and the EU. Ganito yan. This is how it developed. They use now election until now they're using it against me. Some of them may be true, but I was trying to explain that I said there is no crime at all committed by me when I say I will kill all the criminals. It is not a crime to threaten criminals with death. That's the reason why they would go and say we'd go to war because you are behaving this way. There is no law in the Philippines which says I have to go to jail because I said you threaten the next generation and the speaker will kill you. I was trying to explain all of these things, the nuances of the law, the dynamic. But nobody was listening until now. So, what is my best defense as a lawyer? I insult people. So when I began to say, shit, God did that. So everybody was looking at me. So, ngayon, you are now listening to me, but only to hear bad words. Oh, I'll give you more. Blah, 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 blah. Ngayon, kung puro complain na sila, sinabi ko sa inyo, this is the story. At least give me the right to be heard. Now, I will kinig one by one, and besides, you never. I represent the sovereign authority. When I was mayor, you can attack me on the side. So I'm not just a mayor. But when I became personally sa akin, go to the United Nations, ventilate your gripe or your grievance, then ask for a motion that it be sent to the proper organ or agency under the United Nations. WTO, WHO, Human Rights, UNICEF. Those are the bodies there, human rights. Then you ask somebody for a motion to send a rapporteur, then he will investigate me, or he will call for a public hearing. Then I respond, and you make a report, then that is the time that you put to task is sovereign nation. Nagkulang ang mga gago eh. Di pinag-aralan. Pati the senator. The soldier, the lawyer, iyo. 7 idiots that lawyers are. Sabi nila, this guy, this leader, has been heard threatening or intimidating with that criminals. Anak ka ng... That prompted me to write letters, and it is out. I invited President Obama, the Secretary of State, the United Nations, the Human Rights Commission, and the EU. Come here, investigate me. But give me also the right to be heard. So I will have to ask you questions after questioning me. Sige, Tugade. Paikutin ko kayo dito ng kamay ko and play with you. I am very sure, they cannot be brighter than me. Maniwala kayo. Paikutin kita. You know, I said, I've been a trial lawyer for 8 years. I will play with you in public. I will ask 5 questions that will humiliate you. And I will ask 10 questions for you to agree with me. Magtayan ninyo, it will be an expected one. You better watch it. Maganda yan. It will give you an entertainment. Akala siguro ng mga buang kasi, ang Pilipinas, small nation. Well, I'm sure with this, after this moment, with this crowd, after my assurance that there will be no fictional cases, there will be no exemption, nothing of the sort. Just do business, I will protect you, and if there is anybody maghumihingi sa inyo, tell me, do not give me your name. Just talk to Lopez and Dominguez. Sabihin lang ninyo. Because I'm trying now to just shoot the breeze also with the guys there sa Malacanang. You can, I will allow RPTV open to the public. After the news of the day, you can text. If you do not want to put your name, fine. Tagay mo lang. Bureau of Customs, example only. Bureau of Customs, Mr. Martin Santos asking for money. Right, so that the entire people of the Philippines will see it. So I can assure you. I will only immediately explain. But I will also give him the right to answer. That's in keeping with fair play. He can answer with his time. But you can, anybody of you, may maghingi, even the clerk, even the security guard, text mo na. Sabi lang, Mayo, dyan sa custom gano'n, may naging. Then I will. I have prepared a special bullet for him. And a special rifle. One that cannot penetrate all throughout. Yung ano lang. Enough for him to suffer. Barilin natin ang mga. Salamat po.